Hello and welcome to another Excel tips video. I am Sumit Bansal and in today's video I am going to show you how to quickly highlight all the cells that have formulas in it. This could be useful if you are already working with a large spreadsheet that has a lot of formulas and you want to highlight the cells with formulas, or if you get your workbook from someone else and you want to quickly identify cells that have formulas so you can audit them or change them. So let's see how to quickly highlight cells with formulas in Excel. Here I have this data set where I have these names in column A, their sales in column B, and their commission in column C, where column C is where I have used a formula. Now this is a very simplified data set, and even if you're working with a large worksheet that has a lot of formulas scattered throughout the worksheet, the methods that I covered here are still going to work. But for the purpose of this video, I have simplified this data to show you how it works. So here I have this column that has all the formulas. Now I want to highlight all the cells that only contain the formulas. So the easiest way to do this is using conditional formatting, where I'm going to select this entire range, or if you want, you can select the entire sheet by clicking on this inverted green triangle at the top left of the worksheet. Now I'm going to go to the conditional formatting option here in the home tab, and then I would click and then click on new rule. And in the new formatting rule dialog box, I'm going to click on use a formula to determine which cells to format. Now I'm going to use a very simple formula here, which is formula. And I'm going to then use a cell reference, which is A1, because I'm analyzing all the cells. So I've used A1 here, which is a relative reference, which means that as it analyzes different cells, it is going to replace A1 with that cell reference. Now what is formula function does is it is going to return true if the cell has a formula, and it is going to return false if the cell does not have a formula. So this formula is going to do it for me. Now I'm going to select a format. So I'm going to click on the format button. And here in the fill tab, let's say I'll go with this green color. And now when I click OK and I click OK again, it is going to instantly highlight all the cells that have formulas in this case. Now, because conditional formatting is dynamic, in case you make changes in any cell or you add a formula in any cell, that would also get highlighted if that has a formula. So for example, if I come here and I enter a very simple formula, something let's say sales into 2, then this cell also gets highlighted because now it also has a formula. So it returns true when analyzed through is formula. Just remember one thing when you're using conditional formatting is when you apply it for the entire sheet, it can slow down your workbook because conditional formatting is a little bit volatile. So it's best if you use it on a specific range or a specific column, but not the entire sheet. But even if you do it for the entire sheet, this should still work well. Now let me show you another way to do this. Here again, I have the same data set where I have formulas in column C. Now let me show you a go-to special technique to quickly select all the cells that have formulas and then highlight it. So I'm going to first select all these cells. I can select the entire sheet if I want. Now I'm going to press the F5 key on my keyboard, and when I do that, it opens the go-to dialog box. And here I'm going to click on special button, and when I do that, it opens the go-to special dialog box. You can also open the same thing by going to the home tab, and here within editing, click on find and select, and then click on go to special. So this is also going to open the go to special dialog box. Now here I have these options. I'm going to select the formulas option and keep all these checked. Now what it does is it is going to go to all these cells that have a formula and select them. And it does not matter whether these are a contiguous range or non-contiguous range, it is going to select individual cells that are scattered as well. So now when I click OK, you would notice that only these cells are selected. The entire range and the entire worksheet is deselected. Only those cells that have a formula are selected. Now once I've selected it, it's very easy. I can come here and I can color this. So I can give it any color I want, and it is going to highlight these cells that have a formula. Now obviously compared to the conditional formatting method, which was dynamic, this is not dynamic. So if I come here and I enter a formula, it will not be highlighted. You will have to repeat the same process again. But if this is something you just need to do once and you do not want these cells to be dynamic, then you can use this method. It's quick, it's fast, and it does not slow down your workbook. Now let me show you a VBA method to do this. I have the same data set again, and I'm going to use a simple VBA code to quickly go through each cell and highlight the cells that have a formula. So I have the code here, and I'm going to copy this. I will also give you this code in the description of this video so you can copy it from there. Now I'm going to go to the VB editor. So I'm going to click on the developer tab here and then click on Visual Basic. If you do not see the developer tab, right click on any of these tabs that you see, go to customize the ribbon, and within the Excel options dialog box, make sure that this developer option is checked and then click OK. So when you do that, it is going to appear. So now I'm going to click on developer tab and click on Visual Basic. And when I do that, it opens the VB editor. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Alt F11. So you hold the Alt key and press the F11 key to open the same VB editor. Now here I'm going to insert a module. So I'm going to go to the insert option here in the menu and then click on module. And when I do that, it inserts a module for this workbook. Now, if you have multiple workbooks open, all of them are going to be visible here. So when you are inserting a module, make sure that it's inserted for the workbook where you have the data. So a good way would be to select any object in the workbook already and then insert a module. So it would be inserted for this workbook only. Now in this module code window, I'm going to paste my VBA code. Now to use the VBA code, I need to first make the selection, and I do not want to select the entire sheet because VBA code is going to go through each cell, see if it contains a formula and then highlight it in the specified color in the VBA code. But I do not want to analyze all the cells, which are millions of cells in the entire sheet. So I'm going to only select this range of cells. If you have, let's say your data scattered across the worksheet, still you try and select only those cells that have the data. Do not select the entire worksheet. Now I'm going to go back to the VB editor here and let me drag this VB editor here. Now I have made the selection. Let me quickly explain the code briefly. So here what this does is it is going to go through the selection, which is the cells that I've already selected. It goes through each cell using a for each loop, and in that it checks whether the cell has a formula or not. So this is going to return a true or a false, just like conditional formatting. It would return true, and if it is true, then this condition would be followed, which is that the cell would be colored with this, which is RGB and the value. So you can change the color here, you can use any RGB value you want here, but what it does is if the cell has a formula, then this line would be executed, but if the cell does not have a formula, then this line would not be executed. But because this is analyzing each cell and one cell at a time in the selection, if it is a huge selection or if you select the entire worksheet, this can be a little slow. So it's better to only select the used range or the range where you want to highlight the cells with formulas. So see what happens when I select any of these lines in the code and I run the code by clicking on this green button, or I press the F5 key, it is going to instantly highlight all these cells in the specified color. Now you can change the color here, but it has quickly highlighted all the cells that contain formulas. Now VBA is a little longer method as compared to go to special or conditional formatting. But if this is something you need to do quite often in the same workbook or across workbooks, then VBA could be a faster way because the setup is only one time, but then you can easily run the code and highlight the cells that have formulas. Also, if you want to use this VBA code in all the workbooks on your system, then you can put this code in the personal macro workbook. So I have done a video on that. I will have a link of that video in the description of this video. So these are three simple methods that you can use to quickly highlight cells that have formulas in it. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Also, if you're liking these videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you never miss out on any new Excel tips video I come up with. Thank you and have a nice day.